Stop what you're doing right now. Put the phone down. I know exactly what you're doing. You're staring at a screen that hasn't lit up. You're rereading that last message you sent, analyzing every word, counting the minutes, wondering if you said too much or not enough. You're rewriting a follow-up text in your head, deleting it, rewriting it again, wondering if that emoji makes you look desperate or fun. Here's what I need you to understand. The moment you start trying to keep her attention, you've already lost it. And most men, they waste years of their lives trapped in this mental prison. But what if I told you there are 3 words, just 3, that can completely flip the script? Words that make her think about you obsessively. Without you doing anything extra, stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you won't just have words to say. You'll have a completely new understanding of how attraction actually works. Let me guess what you've been told your whole life. Just be nice to her. Be available. Show her you care. Be persistent. She'll eventually see your value. Deep down, you know that's garbage. You've seen it with your own eyes. The guy who seems to care less gets all the attention. The guy who's always available gets ignored. The nice guy gets friend-zoned, while the mysterious guy has her checking her phone every 5 minutes. Why? It's not because women like jerks. It's not because they're shallow or playing games. It's because of how the human brain is wired. And here's what nobody's telling you. Attraction is not a negotiation. It's not a transaction. You can't logic your way into someone's heart. You've been playing checkers while the game is chess. You've been speaking to her conscious mind when you need to be speaking to her unconscious. And that's exactly what these 3 words do. They bypass logic. They slide quietly under her skin. They create a loop in her brain that she can't shake. But if I gave you those words right now, you'd use them wrong. You'd use them like a desperate magic trick, and they'd backfire. So first, you need to understand the psychology behind them. Before we go deeper, do me a favor. If you're serious about understanding attraction on a level most guys never will, hit that subscribe button right now. This channel breaks down the psychology they don't teach you anywhere else. All right, let's get into it. Here's the first thing you need to understand. This is not a gimmick. This is not some cheesy pickup line from a 90s movie. This is rooted in deep evolutionary psychology. Most men think attraction works like a checklist. Good looks, good job, funny texts, instant replies, and then boom, she falls in love, right? Wrong. If attraction worked that way, dating apps would have solved loneliness a decade ago. Instead, we're more isolated, more anxious, and more confused than ever. Why? Because the connections that move us, the ones that keep us up at night, the ones we can't explain, those don't happen in the logical mind. They happen in the unconscious mind. Carl Jung, one of the greatest psychologists who ever lived, spent his entire career studying this hidden world. And he said something that explains almost every time you've failed in dating. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Read that again. When she says, I just don't feel a spark, she's not rejecting you as a person. She's telling you her unconscious mind hasn't been activated. When she says, you're a great guy, but she means your resume is perfect, but your emotional resonance is dead. You're trying to negotiate desire using logic. You're bringing a calculator to an art gallery. Let me show you what this looks like in real life. If you send a text, hey, how was your day? You think you're being polite, considerate, interested. But here's what's actually happening. You're speaking to her conscious mind, the part of her brain that sorts emails, pays bills, makes grocery lists. That part of the brain is bored. It's on autopilot. Your text gets lumped in with 47 other notifications. It gets the same emotional weight as a spam email. And when you're too available, too predictable, too safe, you become part of the background noise. You become furniture, and nobody falls in love with furniture. Here's the harsh truth. When you're always available, always texting back instantly, always agreeing with her, her brain makes a prediction. It says, okay, I've got this guy figured out. He likes me more than I like him. He's safe. I don't need to worry about losing him. I can check my phone later. And just like that, attraction dies. Not because you're a bad person, not because you're ugly or broke, but because there's no tension, no mystery, no reason for her unconscious mind to keep you in the spotlight. Let me explain how your brain works, and hers. We are prediction machines. Evolution designed us this way so we could survive. If we see a predator, we predict danger and run. If we see storm clouds, we predict rain and seek shelter. In the modern world, this prediction system runs constantly in social situations. When a woman meets you, whether it's in person or through text, her brain immediately tries to categorize you. Is he safe? Is he desperate? Is he high status? Is he boring? And here's the problem. Most men fall into the predictable category within the first 5 minutes. You ask the same questions everyone asks. Where are you from? What do you do? What do you like to do for fun? You agree with everything she says. You double text when she doesn't reply. You react exactly how she expects you to react. Her brain doesn't even need to pay attention anymore. It's already solved the equation. This guy is interested. He's harmless. He'll be here tomorrow. No urgency, no excitement. And that's when you get the slow fade, the one-word answers, the I'm busy excuses. Let me give you an analogy that'll make this crystal clear. Imagine you're driving home from work. You take the same route every single day. Do you remember the drive? No, you're on autopilot. Your brain isn't paying attention because nothing new is happening. But what if, halfway home, you see a fire truck with lights flashing on the side of the road? Suddenly you snap out of autopilot. You look, you focus. You remember it later. You might even tell someone about it. Why? Because it broke the pattern. It was novel. It was unexpected. You want to be the fire truck, not the pavement. The 3 words I'm going to teach you act as a pattern interrupt. They stop her autopilot. They force her brain to focus on you with 100% of her attention. Quick pause. If you're getting value from this, do me a solid and hit that subscribe button. You're learning what 95% of guys will never understand. Don't let this be the last time you hear it. Let's keep going. Now let's talk about emotional anchoring. Here's a fact. Your brain doesn't store words. It stores feelings attached to images and experiences. You might not remember the exact sentence your best friend said 5 years ago, but you remember how hard you laughed. You remember the feeling of that moment. Most texts men send carry 0 emotional weight. What are you up to? 0 weight. Hope you're having a great Thursday. Negative weight. Feels like a corporate newsletter. You need words that are symbols, words that carry emotional gravity. Carl Jung talked about something called the animus, the masculine energy inside a woman's unconscious mind. True attraction happens when you speak to that part of her, when you represent something she feels she's missing. Usually this means you represent 1, certainty in a world full of confusion. Challenge in a sea of easy validation. 3. Depth in a world of shallow interactions. The 3 words I'm about to give you combine all 3 of these elements. They show certainty. You're not afraid to state what you feel. They provide challenge. You're evaluating her, not the other way around. They imply depth. You see something in her that others miss. Before I reveal the words, there's one more piece of the puzzle you must understand. Silence. Most men are terrified of silence. If there's a pause in the conversation, you panic. You scramble, you send a meme, you ask another question. You fill the void with anything. And you know what that signals? Insecurity, neediness, low value. A high-value man is comfortable in silence. He knows that silence is where attraction builds. Think about every great movie you've ever seen. The most intense moments aren't when people are talking. It's the silence before the kiss, the pause before the confession, the moment of eye contact that says everything. Silence creates tension, and tension creates desire. You need to be willing to let the conversation hang. Let her wonder where you went. Let her imagination start working. Because here's the secret. When she's imagining you, she's investing in you emotionally. When she's wondering what you're doing, why you haven't texted, what you're thinking, she's building a version of you in her mind that's 10 times more attractive than anything you could text her. Your goal is not to text her all day long. Your goal is to be the man she thinks about all day. Because you didn't text. All right, we're almost at the reveal. But first, let me paint the picture of how this works in real life. You're in a conversation, could be texting, could be in person. Things are going well, but you're hitting that natural lull. The energy is dipping. Or maybe she just shared something personal, something real, something quirky. Most guys would respond with, haha, that's cool. Nice. Yeah, I totally get that. Safe, polite, forgettable. You're going to do something different. You're going to pause. If you're texting, you're going to wait a beat. Let the tension build. Let her wonder if you're even going to respond. If you're in person, you're going to make eye contact. Let a small smile cross your face, and then you're going to say the three words. Here they are: you intrigue me. Or the slight variation: I'm intrigued. That's it. Now I can already hear some of you thinking, that's the big secret. Three simple words. Yes. And if you think it's too simple, you're missing the layers of psychological power packed into this phrase. Let me break down exactly why this demolishes her logical brain and goes straight to her unconscious. When you say, I like you, you're handing her all the power. You're saying, please validate me, please like me back. When you say, you intrigue me, you become the selector. You're the one doing the evaluating. You're not saying you're sold on her. You're saying you're looking closer. You're saying she's interesting enough to investigate further. This completely flips the script. Suddenly, she's not the prize being chased. She's a puzzle you're trying to solve. And psychologically, she wants to prove you right. She wants to live up to that intrigue. I like you is a closed statement. It's done. There's no mystery, no follow-up needed. You intrigue me is an open loop. Her brain immediately starts asking questions. Why am I intriguing? What did I do? Is this good? Bad? What does he see in me? Her brain cannot close this loop on its own. She has to ask. She has to engage. And now you're in a conversation that's about character and depth, not about the weather or what you had for lunch. Every woman wants to feel seen, not just looked at, but truly seen. You intrigue me, tells her. You're not like everyone else. You're complex. You have layers. I see something in you that other men are missing. It's a compliment, but it's a compliment she hasn't earned yet, which means she'll want to prove she deserves it. This phrase walks a perfect line. It's not aggressive, it's not sexual, it's not creepy. But it does carry a subtle undertone of desire. Desire to know more, to get closer, to peel back the layers. It creates intimacy without crossing boundaries. It's socially calibrated, but it has edge. If your mind is blown right now, make sure you're subscribed. Hit that bell icon too, because the next few videos are going to take this even deeper. All right, let's talk execution, because context is everything. You can't just blurt out, you intrigue me randomly. If she says, I just ate a sandwich, and you reply with, you intrigue me, you'll look like a psychopath. Wait for the right moment. She says, honestly, I hate going to clubs. I'd rather just sit on my rooftop at night and watch the city lights. Boring guy. Yeah, clubs are so loud. I like roofs too. Conversation dead. Magnetic guy. Pause. Eye contact if in person, or brief delay if texting. You know what? You intrigue me. She'll respond. What? Haha. Why? Your follow-up. Don't give her a straight answer immediately. Keep the tension alive. Most people just follow the crowd without thinking. But you seem like you've got a whole world going on inside your head. That's rare. Boom. You just did three things. You validated her. She feels special. You challenged her. You're analyzing her, not worshipping her. You created an emotional anchor. She feels seen in a way she rarely experiences. Let's say she's giving you one-word answers. The energy is fading. Stop chasing. Don't send another question. Don't send a meme. Don't try harder. Wait a few hours. Then send this. You know, you're not what I expected. She will respond, guaranteed. What do you mean? Now you reply. I'm not sure yet, but I'm intrigued. This creates a vacuum in her mind. She needs to know what you're thinking. It activates her dopamine system. Now she's chasing you. She opens up about something real, maybe a passion, a fear, a dream. Most guys rush to relate. OMG, me too. I totally get it. Instead, pause, then. I'm intrigued by you. Most people don't share that side of themselves. She'll feel seen, understood, rare. Now here's the warning, and this is critical. Do not overuse this. This is seasoning, not the entire meal. If you say, you intrigue me, to every woman you talk to, it loses all power. It becomes a cheap trick. This phrase should be genuine. You should actually be a man who has standards, a man who isn't impressed by looks alone. Be intrigued by her mind, her quirks, her darkness, her contradictions, her spirit. When you say you intrigue me, it should be because she actually showed you something real. If you're not living a life where you have options, where you have purpose, where you're building something, this phrase will sound hollow. Authenticity is the soil, mystery is the spice. You need both. Let's zoom out for a second. The specific phrase, "you intrigue me," is powerful, but the energy behind it is what will transform your entire life. The energy is this: I am a man with options. I create my own reality. I'm not looking for a woman to complete me. I'm looking for a woman who can match me. When you operate from that frame, you don't need scripts. You don't stress over double text. You don't obsess over emojis. You naturally become less available because you're busy building your life more mysterious, because you're not spilling your guts for validation, more attractive, because you're not seeking approval. Most men are beggars. They beg for attention. They beg for replies. They beg for affection. The king doesn't beg. The king invites. When you say "you intrigue me," you're extending an invitation. You're opening the door just a crack to see if she's brave enough, interesting enough, deep enough to walk through. This is what Carl Jung meant when he said, "Make the unconscious conscious." Once you realize you are the prize, that your attention is valuable, that her obsession comes from her investment, not your effort, everything changes. You stop chasing, you stop stressing, you stop trying to be perfect. You realize you don't need flawless lines or constant communication. You only need to know how to speak in a way her unconscious mind can never forget. So the next time you're staring at your phone, wondering what to say, wondering if she's thinking about you, don't be the nice guy. Don't be the boring guy. Don't be the guy who's trying too hard. Be the mystery, be the challenge. Be the man who's intrigued, but never fully conquered. If this video opened your eyes, hit that subscribe button right now. Drop a comment below and tell me your biggest takeaway, and I'll see you in the next one.